So in this video I'm going to show you how to make a radial balanced square. In my 7th grade art class here at Highlands Middle School, we've been learning all about kinds of balance, symmetrical, asymmetrical, and then radial. And radial balance is where all the elements in a work of art branch out or radiate out from a center point. So this is going to be a really cool design. It's going to have things that repeat all the way around and everything's going to come out from a center point. So to find the center point, we need to do some folding first. I'm going to do a couple of folds here. When you do your folds, you want to make sure they're nice and crisp, and we're actually going to fold them back on themselves. So I'm going to fold this first one corner to corner this way, get a nice tight crisp fold, and as soon as I'm done I'm going to fold it right back on itself the other way. So again, when you fold these guys, try to get these corners lined up perfectly on top of each other. Hold that down tight, come straight back, and then out to each edge. And you can really press these down to get a nice crisp fold. You want these to be really tight. And like I said, once you have them one way, you want to open that fold up and fold it right back on itself the other way. And what this does is it creates a hinge fold, and I think a hinge fold is a type of fold that you can fold either way, back and forth, kind of like the hinge of a door. It folds back and forth like this. So I'm going to do a hinge fold. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. We're going to do corner to corner both ways, corner to corner both ways, and then we're going to turn the whole thing and we're going to go side to side both ways as well. Okay, so that's corner to corner, back and forth, and then side to side, back and forth as well. So I'll speed this part up now. Okay, so you can see here that I've done all my folds. Once again, both diagonals and both sides, and I folded all those folds back on themselves. We have nice hinge folds, so no matter which fold I do, I can easily fold it back and forth both directions, okay? So what you're going to need for this project, you're obviously going to need a square piece of paper. Any size will do. Just don't want it to be too thick paper. I just have regular 80-pound weight paper here. You're going to need a wooden pencil, not a mechanical pencils. Mechanical pencils don't really put out enough lead for this project. I really think wooden pencils are the best. Number two, you're going to need a Sharpie. I have a nice thin line, extra thin line Sharpie here. An eraser is always good. And then I keep my old Sharpies that have died out and won't write anymore, but I use them for a rubbing tool, which you'll see later on. And of course some colors. I got my brand new box of markers here as well, so we have some colors to choose from later on. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do is make up a design. Now, you don't need to design the whole thing. What we're going to do is you can fold this up, and the part you really need to design is just one triangle. So you just got to design one part of this, and then we're going to repeat that part all the way around. Sometimes I think it's nice to fold everything up so you can't really see the rest of the triangles, but it makes it hard to write on sometimes. So I'm going to open this all up. I'm just going to focus on this triangle right here. So any kind of design will work. You can make something that's realistic, like a landscape or a certain kind of scene, but I'm just going to do some abstract shapes and just try to fill up the space. You don't want to do tiny little details because they don't transfer really well, but you don't want to leave a lot of empty space either. Alright, so the first part I like to do, I just do it nice and lightly in case I make a mistake. So I'm just going to put some freeform shapes in here and we'll see what shows up. Like this. That's kind of interesting. Good. Maybe one more shape down here. How about a little triangle within a triangle? And something inside this shape as well. Maybe some circles inside here. So here's my design that I'm going to use. You can see I've kind of drawn it in lightly so I can see if I want to change anything. I think I like everything except for this part down here. I'm going to change this because I don't like this. It's just not, it's too thin. Didn't turn out the way I wanted. So if you write nice and lightly, you can erase the parts you don't want very easily. So I think I'm just going to mirror this triangle that I have down here and just do another big triangle within a triangle kind of thing. We'll kind of curve this one in maybe. Like that. Okay, so now here's the design I want to do. So now what I want to do is, using my number 2 pencil again, is go over each one of these lines and press down hard. I don't want to go back and forth and scribble. I want one nice smooth dark line that goes over the entire line like that. Okay, you don't need to make them really thick. Just go through and darken each of these lines in nice and smooth with one stroke. I'm going to pause here and I'll speed this up because my pencil just broke. I'm going to get another pencil, but I'll speed that up. Alright, so there's my design darkened in now. So now we're going to start the transferring process. What I want to do is I want to move this design and have it flip over to this. Now if I tried to freehand it, just mirror it, it would be very difficult to do. So we're actually going to use the graphite that's on the paper on here to help transfer it over to this side. So when I do this, I want to put my design on top of the desired triangle. So I want this design to go on top. I don't want this one to go that way. This one's going to go this way so I can still see the design through the paper there very easily. Now here's where that old Sharpie comes in handy. These Sharpies have very round edges at the bottom, so they're very easy to use to rub and it won't tear the paper. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some good pressure down. I'm just going to rub on the parts that I can see through the paper. So I'm just going to give this some good solid pressure back and forth, holding my paper down flat. I don't want my paper to crinkle or to rip in any way, so just kind of moving back and forth here. Some decent pressure on this. Really focus on the areas and go edge to edge. Really press down hard. Don't worry about the areas where there's no pencil, just kind of focus really on the parts that you see. Again, go all the way to the edge of your paper and all the way to the corners, especially in these areas in here. There we go. Press out this way. And once you've got a good solid rubbing on the back, when you open this up, you'll find that that graphite has transferred over to this side, and you can now go through and darken in this. Now, it really is important to go one triangle at a time and not like get halfway done and try to rub the entire paper like this, because you tend to get uneven sides, and a lot of the time the graphite that I use to transfer this one to this one won't be as light when I transfer it this way. So it really is just smart to just go darken this one in, transfer it over, darken this one in, transfer it over, all the way around, which is what I will do now. Okay, so there we are, all the way around. I've transferred my image all the way. If you're finding when you're transferring that your graphite isn't showing up, it's probably because you're not pressing hard enough with the Sharpie on the back side. You really got to put some good pressure into it. If you're not seeing little Sharpie shavings coming off there, you're probably not pressing hard enough. You can always open up and see if you're not getting a part, or if you need to go back and just hit a certain area, you certainly can. I really just don't recommend trying to go back and put more graphite in, because then your lines get thicker and thicker and thicker, and it starts getting less and less like the original image as you move around. So at this point, what I like to do, I really don't like the kind of unevenness of the lines of the pencil, so I'm going to go through here with my thin line Sharpie and just go through and go over all these marks, and I might actually go with a thicker line Sharpie too on this one, just kind of fill in some of these areas. I might color in these lines all the way black, so when I'm all done, it's going to look something like this. So this is after I've gone through and Sharpied everything in. I actually used a thick line Sharpie, brand new one with a nice tip on it. You can see that I filled in some areas too. I filled in the circles, parts of the triangles, the entire bars here as well. And then I also went through using my eraser, and very carefully, so as not to tear anything, and always moving towards the outside, never trying to push in, I went through and erased all the pencil lines that I could see that were kind of sticking out, so this kind of helped clean things up a little bit. So now I'm free to kind of color this in any way I want. I think I'm going to use a mixture of markers and colored pencils for the background and markers for the foreground. So once I decide on the colors I want to use, just remember that for each triangle, whatever you color in one has to be colored in the same all the way around, otherwise it will not have radial balance. So if I'm going to color in these guys blue, they need to be blue all the way around the square, otherwise it won't be radial balance. So as soon as I'm done finished coloring it, it's going to look something like this. So this is my finished result. As you can see, I decided to go with all markers. Got a nice cool combination of cool colors and the warm color background to kind of help it contrast a bit more. Everything radiates out from that center point, so we have a nice example of radial balance. So I'd love to see your examples. If you want to post a video of your radial balance square, feel free, and good luck.